Hello, Gemini, Gemini placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, major placements, or anybody just watching this video. This is the 2023 reading for Gemini. And what we're going to do today is we're going to get some theme cards and a breakdown of the year in each of the different quarters here. So we're going to pull first in a card from our Archetypes deck here, getting the overall major theme of the year, what this energy is kind of about and what it's in regards to as the year breaks down. Then we're going to get an Alchemy card, and this is how the energy is changing and transforming through the year, and energy we're working through that is progressing, and maybe energy we're coming into. It depends a little bit sign to sign so far. But then after that, once we get our two major theme cards, we'll break that down a little bit more. We're going to get break it down a bit more with a 4-card spread, one for each quarter of the year. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So one for each quarter there with a card from our Wild Unknown Tarot deck here. And then we're going to get a clarifying card with the Animal Spirit deck, whether or not that is advice maybe for that particular quarter, or if it's clarifying the energy of that quarter, depends on the reading. So we'll see how that goes as well. So let us get started now. Let's get our cards going. Get these guys out of the way over here and get our major theme energy for you, Gemini, for 2023. These readings have been pretty interesting so far, and vary a little bit actually for what I do for myself a little bit. It's the same spread, but the way the energy is showing up is very interesting. So Archetypes deck for my Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, major Gemini placements, or anybody watching this video. What is the theme for 2023 for Gemini? What is the theme for Gemini for 2023? Okay, the Unseen. The one, I think the one in my hand is the one. Yeah, there's too many cards here. So the individual that flipped here is going to be the one. So this is the Judge. Good close up. Look at that one. Okay. Get these guys back in their box now, so that way the cards don't go everywhere. I have way too many decks out sometimes. Okay, so now let's get our Alchemy card. Look at this a little bit more specifically. Okay. Alchemy deck for our Sun, Moon, Rising Geminis and our major Gemini placements, those watching this video here. How is their energy changing and progressing in 2023, and also in regards to the Judge? For Geminis for 2023, what energy is changing, moving, progressing? Okay. Okay. Autumn, we'll take that top card. Got Mortification, the Moon, and then Synchronicity. Interesting. Okay. Back in the box for Alchemy. So Geminis, we've got the Judge, and then we've got Autumn here. So here's a good closer up look at Autumn. Beautiful card. Love the colors in this one for sure. So interesting colors. I like the kind of yellow spots there. That's kind of tying in together here. So let's look a little bit deeper now at these energies specifically for your theme for 2023. So Gemini, it's actually interesting the energy present here, right? With you being the sign of major communication, the Judge card actually ties in really well with your just overall energy, mannerisms, the qualities that a Gemini has, right? The Judge, if you think about it, there are twofold for it, the light and the dark in this case, right? So the light energy of a Judge is the energy where we are advocating for others, that is fighting for civil rights, that is taking down walls and building bridges and having good discernment energy for how to connect with others and really think through a situation, right? When judgment's in its more negative aspect, its shadow aspect, that's when we're judgmental. That's when we are building up those walls. That's where these, and keep in mind, this is archetypes, so this is big ideas, big energies, right? This is where racism comes in, and all those other isms and transphobia and fears and all those things where we're judging others and not listening and taking care of things and being kind and considerate to others. We're in that judgment energy. So we see that almost with the card here, right? This light and dark, the hands and the movements and offerings and the qualities of that card for judgment. With Autumn energy is the harvest, the accumulation, the bounty, all this positive energy that we've built up over the year, bringing it all together, right? So it's time for celebration. The times of autumn is when we have like the autumn leaves, the colors changing. We go to the corn mazes, and that's when Thanksgiving is, at least in the Americas, in North America, specifically the United States, with Thanksgiving and other countries that celebrate it. So a time of thanks, a time of giving, being generous, being that in that open energy, right? So working through these themes, we get that commonality between the two, right? Where it's the giving of energy, giving our discernment, giving ourselves into a positive judgment energy with this autumn energy tying in together. It'll be interesting to see how this breaks down a little bit more, because sometimes during specific points, specific quarters, it ties in more with one energy or the other. And again, this is how our energy is changing and transforming for autumn specifically, right? So we're coming into an energy of reaping everything we've sown, bringing it all together, right? Everything we've been working really, really hard for, maybe in the past year, in 2022 and the year before, everything, we're finally bringing that all together now in 2023 and like reaping the bounty that we've put in and sown for so long, and we're finally being able to harvest that energy, right? So maybe a project's come to its final endpoint, right? Or you kind of finally got that bonus, all the hard work you put in over the years, last year into this year, into 2023 is finally you get that raise, right? Or you get that promotion. So coming into an energy finally of like, okay, finally I've got all this done. I finally did all these pieces. I finally got all this together, and now I get to celebrate, right? I get to show my thankfulness for it. So interesting energy tying together. I'm really curious, because they at first glance these two don't tie in with each other super well, and they don't always have to, right? It's like, okay, here's the main theme, the like big lesson we're working on, and then this is the energy we're moving through for alchemy, right? So it's like, okay, here's the major lesson, here's the theme of the year, the big overall arching idea, right? And then this is the energy that's changing and transforming through that time, or that we've moved out of and we're moving into, or going to be moving into. So that's kind of how I read these cards specifically, and in this reading as well. With Judge, I think we'll have to break this down a little bit more with the quarterly reading. I'm really curious to see how this will pan out, right? Because there's going to be opportunities to be in the energy of the Judge here for you, Gemini, throughout the year, right? Opportunities to look at things in a positive, social, civil rights way, to help others, to break down these walls, to be open and communicative with people, right? Versus putting up walls, putting up boundaries that don't need to be there, that are just to block others, right? Or we're coming from a place of fear, right? Boundaries can be a really good thing, of course. We need boundaries in our life. But there's a difference between boundaries that are from fear, that are causing hatred, that like have us acting in a hateful way, right? So there's a balance there for this energy as well. So now, Gemini, let us get further into the reading here. I'll pull these guys up here because they're our overarching energy, and let's break down your year a little bit more, okay? So we got the Wild Unknown Tarot here. So Wild Unknown Tarot for, not yet, 10 of Pentacles, good to know. For my Gemini placements, my Sun, Moon, Rising Gemini, Major Gemini placements, those watching this video, what is the energy of their first quarter, January, February, March? First quarter energy for Geminis, please, of 2023. Thank you. Okay, like that. Four of Cups in the reverse. Okay. What is the energy quarter two, second quarter, please? April, May, June for Geminis. Second quarter for Geminis. Okay, we'll start in the reverse. Okay. Getting the sun coming out for you, Gemini. I might have to close the curtain, though. We'll see how this ends up looking. Okay, third quarter, please, for Geminis. July, August, September. Okay. The Hierophant in reverse. A lot of reversal energy so far. Okay. Two major arcanas out, though. Okay. And then fourth quarter energy, please. That is way too many cards. Fourth quarter energy for Gemini. Thank you. Five of Pentacles in the upright. Okay. Okay. A little bit of a tough spread at the start, looks like here, Gemini, but let us get a clarification energy now with the Animal Spirit deck, and then we'll dive into this a little bit deeper, okay? So, Animal Spirit deck, please clarify or give more information for the Four of Cups in the reverse for Gemini. Four of Cups in reverse. Thank you, the Fox. Okay. Clarification on the Star in reverse, please. That's way too many cards. You want the Dragonfly, though? Yes, okay. Dragonfly. Okay. The Hierophant, please. Clarification on the Hierophant. Stop. They're jumpy right now. Okay. Clarification on the Hierophant, please. The Owl. Let's tie them all together. Okay. And then finally, clarification on the Five of Pentacles, please, in the upright. Thank you. Okay. Tiger. Okay, Gemini. Good animal spirit cards out for sure. So, a lot of bigger lessons going on here just at first glance. So let's get a little bit more in depth with this now, okay? Our first quarter energy here, Gemini. So we got the Four of Cups in the reverse with the Fox clarifying the energy. And Four of Cups in reverse, right? We're talking about the energy of kind of those emotions, our cups being that emotional space, our feelings, those deeper pieces of ourself. And with Four of Cups coming in the reverse here, it's a time more of introspection a little bit. We're trying to pay attention to other things in our life. We're trying to make sure everything is vibing with us in the right way. We might even be avoiding issues potentially. Not a good thing in this case, but we have some uncertainty that we're working through, maybe some anxiousness after big energy here, right? We potentially were the ones judging or feeling judged in the situation here, and we're trying to make sure we're on the right path, trying to make sure we're doing the right thing, being in tune with everything. It's being clarified by the Fox, which is a good energy here. With Fox, when it's in its more reverse form, it's more shadow form, right? That's when we're kind of getting that sneaky energy, that hiding away again, right? Same kind of energy as the Four of Cups, but reading it in its upright and in terms of spirit advice and giving you good positive energy, right? It's Fox is asking you to pay attention to your loved ones, pay attention to relationships, right? Leaning into those in terms of support, right? So whatever situation that we're kind of working through here, right? We are trying to take the next step on something maybe, or what we're avoiding, we're trying to figure out, be a little bit more introspective, right? And Fox is asking us to not get so introspective, so far in ourselves that we're not paying attention to our partnerships, our loved ones, what we need to do in order to help take care of ourselves and others, those ones that we're responsible for in our life. Fox is really being like, hey, pay attention, make sure you're together, make sure you're working in tandem with others, the people that you care about, right? You do, of course, need time for introspection and thinking about things and paying attention to your life in a deeper, more influential way, right? You're taking a fine-tooth comb almost to your life with this Judge energy here. And you're trying to make sure that you are not avoiding something potentially, right? With the Four of Cups in reverse, that's when we might be avoiding issues potentially. We're trying to hide away from something, right? You think about the rat here and it's hiding away in the nighttime, and the Fox actually here is the one sniffing out that rat, making sure that it can't hide, that it's going to get taken care of, right? We don't want rats running around in our energy potentially, in our spaces, in our place of where we sleep and food and everything. If you have like a mouse that's ever in the house, you're just like, okay, you don't want that energy around, right? And especially with those kind of animals, the ones that are not kept as pets, right? Carrying diseases and everything, that it can be harmful to us. So using this Fox energy to help you hunt down almost those other areas in your life, that introspection you're doing, finding areas in your life where you maybe have been judgmental. If this is the energy we're working through the year, right? Finding areas in your life where we're like, okay, hey, I am judgmental in that thing. I'm not opening and welcome in that area of my life. So kind of taking the time to think through yourself in the first quarter here, Gemini, and really hone in on things. Fox has a very keen sense of smell. They're a good hunter, right? So that energy coming through here to be like, okay, hey, what do I need to pay attention to? What do I need to really discern and get into the energy here with? While at the same time paying attention to your loved ones and your relationships and partnerships, because those are important in order to keep you in an overall good health, right? The times of celebration that we're talking about here with the autumn energy, that energy changing and transforming through. So that's the first quarter energy here. So coming into the second quarter, so January, February, March, April, May, June, we have the star in reverse clarified by the dragonfly. With the star being clarified by the dragonfly here, this is actually a better energy than it maybe first appears, right? So the star in the uprights, that like wish come true, that wish fulfillment, right? But with the star coming in reverse, we're like, we don't have maybe a lot of hope for the future. We took the energy from the first quarter maybe, and we're like, okay, well, that sucks. Why am I this way? Why is the world this way? Judging the world and your situation maybe for what it is, and you're like, this sucks. Why is this the case? And having a lot of hopelessness actually that comes into here with the second quarter with the star in the reverse, where it's like, okay, I don't know what to do. I have this doubt, right? Doubt about the future, doubt about myself, doubt about the world, doubt about partnership, career, whatever it may be in the second quarter. But this is clarified by the dragonfly, which is a really good energy. Dragonfly, the colors and the shifting, and dragonfly really connects with the mind and the way things move, and the way light plays. The perception here is super important with dragonfly. It clarifying the star here is telling you to look at the situation through a different lens, through a different light, right? We sometimes in human society, right, we have a negativity bias, so we get really caught up very easy sometimes in the negative aspects of ourself, of life, where it's like, okay, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, right? But basic law of attraction in this case is if you're focusing on the things that suck, the universe gives you more things that are sucky that you can complain about that are sucky. That's just kind of the basic energy at the end of the day, right? I had to go through this myself recently, past few months, where I was just like, my mindset was so negative a lot of the time. So I would just find more things to be negative about, and it just kept cycling and cycling and cycling. And finally I had to snap myself out of it, where I'm like, hey, no, focus on this. This is not who you are. This is not what you pay attention to. And I changed how I thought about things, paid attention to things, and got my mind into a better space. I changed my perception with this dragonfly energy here. So while at first glance, our star energy, right, is that hopelessness, and you're like, what? This doesn't make sense. This isn't what I wanted, right? Take the time with dragonfly and change your perception on things, right? What is going right? What is, maybe this situation is not maybe as bleak as it looks at first glance, right? You're judging the energy here in a way that is negatively affecting you, and you have the option to judge it in a different way. You have the option to change this judge energy here, right? This is almost, I saw it moving here. This is a wheel turning, right? This wheel, this movement here. So you have the option to change the wheel here, like spin the wheel and change your perception on things. There are situations, of course, that are just maybe bad, that suck, that have a negative aspect to them, but you have a way to change how you perceive things. You have the option here with dragonfly to look at things in a different manner, in a different way, through a different lens. And maybe once you do that here, Gemini, a situation isn't as bad as you maybe first thought, right? You have to focus on the things that you have that are in bounty here with autumn, right? The things that you have that are in abundance, that are in giving you good positive energy that you can celebrate, that you can be grateful for. This is how you change that energy. Look at things through a different lens with dragonfly energy, is the gratefulness that comes with this autumn energy, the blessings, the harvest, the thankfulness, right? If coming from a place of gratitude for things changes your perspective on almost anything, right? That's something, a basic tenet of certain religions, and that is a basic, it's the word practice. That's a basic practice used a lot of times in order to change our mindset, cultivating gratitude, thinking about things in a gratitude and in a way of gratitude, right? That's why gratitude journals existed. That's a concept that's been around for quite a while now, right? So looking at things through the concept of gratitude with our autumn energy, again, how we change things, how we move things with our alchemy card here, changing what we are how we judge the situation is going to be super important for you in the second quarter here, really paying attention to things in a different manner, in a different way. And this is the energy probably through this whole spread so far, because we can see that even in the first quarter here with the Fox and the Four of Cups in reverse, right? This introspection time, if we're looking at this introspective energy and feeling very down about ourselves and confused and lost, right? Not using the Fox energy in a positive manner. We're getting more in that sneaky flighty energy. We're judging the situation in a way that is not beneficial to us. So really paying attention to that. This energy is here to a lesser extent. It's kind of the start of the energy here in the first quarter, and really hones in now with the second quarter here, where it's like, nope, we feel very hopeless, but we need to take the time and opportunity to judge the situation in a different way and use gratitude as our way to do that. And that's that dragonfly energy moving through and seeing our life and perceiving our life in a different manner here with the star in reverse. Okay. So now moving on into the third quarter here of your year, Gemini, with July, August, September, we have the Hierophant in the reverse with the owl clarifying it again. Lots of discernment energy here again. So very interesting to look at first glance. For you here, Geminis, the third quarter is actually really, really strong for you. Despite the Hierophant coming in reverse here with clarification by the owl, with the other energy that's present, the Hierophant here really is you honing in on being your own teacher, focusing on your own abilities and your own capacities to handle things, right? So the Hierophant in the journey of the Fool through the major arcana in the tarot, the Hierophant is the structures and the classes and the formal education that kind of happens here. The more structured areas of our life. With the Hierophant, though, coming in reverse, this is a lack of those things potentially, or breaking out of those things. When I was going through descriptions and learning about the Hierophant talks in the reverse talks about breaking the status quo. And that's a judgment energy here, right? The Hierophant is the judge energy. The Hierophant in the original Rider-Waite imagery being the one on that kind of throne seat and passing judgment and over others here. The Hierophant, that original imagery, right, is very, very interesting to look at, because there is all the people underneath and everything, and that more formal religious education, like religious piece, but also formal education that structures in place here, and that's judgment energy as well, and the judge and with the Hierophant. So it's really interesting to see this energy so present right here, right, tying in so heavily together. Even color wise, these match, right? This, I mean, obviously not Rider-Waite, but the Kim Krans coloring scheme is very similar, but just look at the common colors. It's the only color in these cards, right, is that yellow popping in here. So very interesting to look at that here. So the Hierophant coming in reverse here for you in the third quarter, right? You have really changed your perspective here, Gemini. You have come into a newer energy. You are breaking out of the structures and the boundaries, the chains almost that you had on you before, that you were using to limit yourself, to judge yourself and your life and the situations that you're in here. And the owl energy clarifying this energy is that wise discernment energy, right? We think of wise old owl and the discernment energy, and there's psychic energy in place here where it's like, okay, you really are perceiving the world in a different way now, right? Coming into this energy in a very positive manner where you're like, okay, I've learned all I can from others. Now I'm going to be the one teaching myself finally. I'm going to be the one offering guidance to myself, changing how I do things, challenging the status quo of my life, how I perceived things before, and looking at things through a new lens, right? And you changing the status quo, challenging the structures in place and the boundaries and the bounds that are in place for others and yourself. Everything helps this judge energy, working through this judge energy as well, changing how people are perceiving things, breaking down those walls, breaking down those barriers, which is very, very good energy to be in. With the owl here, the owl, especially in the animal spirit deck, really focusing on kind of the treasure in a more spiritual sense, right? Coming into an energy that it's like, okay, you have this ability, this gift, this they call it a boon, actually, like a treasure that the owl has. And being able to offer this energy to others, taking it into yourself and being grateful for it. Again, this energy of autumn here, but being able to move that energy into others and with others as you have been breaking down these barriers with the Hierophant in reverse. The owl really actually ties in heavily with our autumn energy too. For the owl in the animal spirit deck here, it talks about good luck and good fortune and abundance energy. And that's our autumn energy all the way, right? The energy we're changing and transforming. So you're really keeping that movement energy, this grateful, thankful energy, this gratitude energy of the autumn card that we discovered what it feels like here in the second quarter of our year. We're really moving that energy through and pushing that energy through into the rest of the year. It's really present here in the third quarter for sure, where we have changed our perception. We have changed how we're looking at things and realizing, right, that those old systems in place don't work for us anymore, right? If we're trying to judge ourselves based on capitalistic society, we're never going to be successful, right? We're never going to see ourselves as successful because the system itself is flawed. The Hierophant talking about our systems in place, those structures of society. And if we're judging ourselves based off of those flawed systems here, right, we're never going to perceive ourselves in a way that is successful and happy and abundant. But we've been changing our perspective here, right, Gemini? This has been the big energy for you through the year, changing how we perceive things, how we are viewing things, coming at things from an energy of gratitude with our autumn energy. And then all of a sudden we perceive things in a new way. We're breaking down barriers, we're breaking down these chains, breaking chains, changing up how we view society and ourselves. And even though you have the ability, of course, to change society as a whole, if that's your path, Gemini, but we're changing how we perceive ourselves, how we judge ourselves, and not using the framework of the current society. That's why the Hierophant's coming in reverse. We're not using that framework to judge ourselves anymore. And with that comes a treasure and abundance and joy and highly big spiritual energy with the owl here, and just keeps this energy moving forward through your third quarter. So it's really interesting, Gemini, when you first look at the top with this reading here, right? So it's like, okay, we have 3 reversals, and the one card that is in the upright that we haven't gotten to yet with our fourth quarter here is not a positive card to have in the upright either. So, but when we break down the energy more, right, when we tie it all in together, we really get a much clearer picture of the situation and how things are changing and looking for you through our year. So interesting energy, right? So it's like, okay, introspection energy. We're in a difficult energy where we're like, this sucks. I don't know what to do, but we're trying to stay in tune with ourselves and our relationships with others with this fox energy. But we really have this hopelessness that we come into, and then we're working through and changing. This forces us to change our perspective, come at things from an area of gratitude, start judging ourselves in a different way, knowing that we can judge ourselves in a different way and change our perception as a whole. End of the third quarter here, where then all of a sudden we're like, nope, the former ways I was judging myself, the societal expectations that were here, the structures in place don't fit anymore. I'm not going to be a part of them anymore because I come in this area of gratitude and abundance and positivity. I'm changing how I judge myself with this here energy here, and how I let society's rules and regulations affect me, breaking that status quo, breaking out of the boundaries and the barriers that hold us in terms of bigger energy of like society, right? So then we come into our fourth quarter here for you, Gemini. So we have the 5 of Pentacles clarified by the Tiger energy, which is really interesting. Very almost counter energy at first glance, but let's get a little bit deeper now into that and see how this actually finishes out your year here for 2023. Gemini, with your final quarter of the year here, right, we have the 5 of Pentacles clarified by the Tiger. And what it feels like to me, I might need a clarifying card actually, potentially, but what it feels like to me here with the 5 of Pentacles and the Tiger energy is kind of like a final challenge, a final lesson here, where it's like, okay, you've really honed in on this lesson of judgment here, right? The Judge, and using autumn energy to help change and transform it and keep the Judge energy in this positive aspect here, right? So 5 of Pentacles really talking about a lack mindset, a poverty mindset, a feeling of hopelessness again coming in, right? We had that with the star earlier in the year, but it's like, okay, so you maybe potentially came into some financial hardships here at the end of the year. This energy present, this can be in lots of different ways, right? It doesn't have to be specifically a financial hardship. It just could be a hardship of some area of our lives, feeling a lack of it in our lives in some area, maybe in terms of a friendship, partnership, could be lots of different things, right? An emotional lack, a spiritual lack, some kind of lack though that's present here. But with our tiger energy, the fierceness of tiger is really prevalent here and changing up the energy, it feels like, right? I'm drawn to the fire symbol here that's kind of covered by this pinky red color. That's the same color of the rose up here. That is very similar coloring, right? That's pretty close there. And of course, this is just Kim Krans art in general, but the tiger really talking about that, a more feminine power, a feminine energy, the sensuality, the energy at night, right? And really working with the energies that we have to stay strong through everything, to make sure that we are in a power mindset almost. What's the right word? I do think I want another card for this actually. Because there's something in between missing right here almost. I feel how we get to that. So, Wild Unknown, please give me clarification for the Five of Pentacles and Tiger. Clarification. Okay, thank you. Daughter of Swords. And coming out in the sideways position like that. So interesting to note as well. So with the Daughter of Swords clarifying this energy, Gemini, right? Swords energy being those new ideas, and the Page being the gusto, the excitement of those new ideas, this fertile ground, this new perspective, right? That we've been cultivating throughout the year. So it coming into, again, this feels like it's kind of a challenge for you at the end of the year. How it'll present for everybody is going to be different, of course. But the Five of Pentacles, that's challenging that lack mindset we have in whatever capacity it is. Whether it's lacking in relationships, those friendships, right? Lacking in our love life, lacking in our career, in our home life, all these different areas, our familiar relationships, our family. Really trying to challenge here that energy, Gemini, is going to be super important. Our Daughter of Swords comes in literally in the sideways position here, not upright, not in the reverse, because it's like, okay, no, this is your choice here. Are you going to deny the power you have, deny your passion and your energy, that deeper intuitive energy you have, what you've been learning and cultivating through this whole time? Are you going to fall back into your old habits, your old patterns here with the Five of Pentacles? Are you going to let this situation show up again and not learn your lesson, right? We've been learning a big lesson through this whole time. Are you going to judge the situation in the way you've judged it before, in the way that is this lack and not knowing and confusion and an almost victim, poor me attitude? Not to try and be mean and call you out here, Gemini. That's just the feeling of the energy, right? Are we going to stay in that energy that we've been working through and learning through the whole year? Or are we going to still come in our energy, a powerful energy of the tiger here, that is that gratitude, that is that abundance, that knowing we have abundance, knowing we have this power that we've cultivated and brought all together, brought in with it, and we have all these big ideas, nice new ideas that we've been thinking about, or the change and challenging societal structures and breaking down the status quo, right? There's so much abundance in this reading, and perspective changes and offerings for you, Gemini, where it's like you just have to see the situation in a different way. Turn this wheel of the judgment here. Turn the wheel and change how you see things finally, right? So it's for the last quarter of the year, it feels like that last lesson, that last test potentially, before this lesson finally culminates and finishes out, right? Before it's like, okay, yep, the universe checks it off your sheet, right? Yep, you got it, you know it, you're good. We don't have to do this lesson anymore, or the lessons come in much more minor, challenging ways that you take care of readily and easily, because you can work through that energy quickly and efficiently now, right? And then eventually we don't have to really think about it anymore. We don't worry about it. It's not a challenge for us anymore. It's not a lesson we need to keep learning. It's just something we work through and take care of, and it's done, and we don't have to really think about it and worry about it anymore, Gemini. So That's what this last quarter really feels like to me. It's like, okay, hey, this last final challenge, this last final test of your skills, your ability, your power. Can you actually perceive things in a new way, consistently, consciously, where it is just your mindset now? You judge things in this new mindset that you haven't before. You judge things through a mindset of abundance and through gratitude and thankfulness. You judge things through this lens and perspective now versus your previous one of lack mindset, poverty mindset. Okay. So Gemini, this is a super interesting year for you, right? Some big lessons kind of taking place. Lots of different ways this energy will progress for you. You always have free will in this situation. So how you look at the situation, how you perceive the situation, how you interact with the situation is going to be up to you, your intuition and your abilities at the time. Really make sure you're paying attention to your mind and how you think about things. Okay. It's going to be super important to you. And this is how we quickly move through these lessons. If we have that positive mindset, positive energy, thinking through our everything in this new perspective, right? Thinking through things in a positive perspective. Easier said than done, of course. That's why this is the lesson present for you. But gratitude's going to be your friend here. Gratitude's going to be the energy that's going to help you change and transform this energy, okay? So really think about that, what that means to you. Probably start a gratitude journal or find ways to cultivate gratitude and think of things in that gratitude mindset, okay? That's going to be super important for you, Gemini. So hopefully this resonated with you. Hopefully it made sense. If this didn't quite resonate with you, you might have energy or be more in tune with a different aspect of your chart potentially, maybe your moon sign. If this isn't your moon sign, this is your sun sign, for example, or there might be major other placements in another area. So whatever you feel called to do, just pay attention to yourself and your intuition, what resonates and makes sense with you. But hopefully this resonated. Hopefully it made sense for those watching it that feel good with it. So I hope you have a wonderful year, Gemini, a prosperous, life-changing, perception-changing 2023. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.